You're listening to Saturday Morning Media. And now, back to our show. Here we go. So before I tell the story, I do want to say that I am not going to tell you to delete your Facebook. I am not going to get political. I'm not going to talk about why I'm going to talk about why I deleted my Facebook, but I'm not going to, this isn't like a proselytizing type thing. I am not here saying you must delete your Facebook. What I'm doing here today is just simply telling you a story. Last week, I told you the story of when I broke my arm. And a few months before I broke my arm, I just decided that I had had enough of Facebook. I really did. It was just not working for me. And it wasn't working for me mentally. And I was just like, you know what? Every time I come on Facebook, I just get depressed. I just get, I don't know. I come away with a bad feeling. So what I did was I deactivated my Facebook account. And that was probably about 2 weeks before I fell and broke my arm. And one thing I was grateful for the entire time I had broken my arm was that I had deleted Facebook, because I got super depressed that I couldn't go anywhere because I had broken my arm. I couldn't drive my car. I couldn't do anything. And if I had been on Facebook all day scrolling through and seeing all the things that other people were doing and living their lives while I was stuck, at home, I would not have been happy. I really would not have been happy. And so I was glad that I didn't. Now, then I had deactivated my Facebook account. And when you deactivate your Facebook account, you don't show up in searches and all this other stuff. But then when you sign back in, your account is still there just as you left it off. And so anyway, I didn't have it. I deactivated my Facebook for a long time, and it was probably like for a couple years. And then I had been going to therapy, and I was kind of bitching and moaning to my therapist about, I create all this content and I put it out there and no one is seeing it. And it's just, I just feel like, people don't know what I can do, and people don't understand the talents that I have. And my therapist said, well, are you on Facebook? And I said, no, I deactivated my Facebook account. I don't have a Facebook. And he said, well, everybody's on Facebook. So maybe if you reactivate your account and you start posting, then people will see more of your things. So I thought, okay, I'm in a good headspace. I can do this. I did. So I did. And it was up for a couple of years. Now, recently, getting anything seen on Facebook nowadays, you have to pay for it. And I'm not willing to pay for it. I did for a while, but even then, when you pay for it, you don't, the return is not fantastic. And so, I like, for example, Under the Puppet, I do a big interview with Matt Vogel. I do a big interview with Kevin Clash. I pay to promote those because those are big names to people. And the Facebook ads, nobody sees the Facebook ads. So I just decided that was the start. That was just like, okay, I'm on Facebook so that people can see my content, but in order to see my content, I have to pay Facebook, and I don't want to pay Facebook, and there's just no organic reach, on Facebook. And so that was the beginning. And then there's all this news about how Facebook, and again, I'm not proselytizing. A lot of people are on Facebook. My parents are on Facebook. Whatever, you can stay on Facebook. I am not saying, but I'm talking from my point of view. There's all this stuff about how Facebook tracks you across the internet. And I got into this because there is a podcast app called Overcast. And it's a great app. I love it. I have it on my devices to listen to podcasts. And I love Overcast. And one of the things that Overcast just put into their software is they will tell you if a podcast is tracking you. And what I like about this is that you can see if somebody is tracking you. And then, it's just the thing. It's like, why does a podcast that I listen to need to have access to what websites that I'm browsing on my phone, or the other apps that I'm using on my phone. It's a podcast. None of my podcasts, I don't have any tracking on my podcast. I have stats on my podcast so I can see how many times it's been downloaded and what regions of the country it's been downloaded in. But like that's as specific as it gets. It does not get down to location, where are you, tracking your location or anything like that. I certainly do not track what apps you have on your phone. I don't track what your Google searches are. I don't track any of that stuff. And so, Facebook tracks you. Even if you're logged out of Facebook, Facebook still has little things in your browser that will track you and see what other apps you can use and what you're searching for. And it's like, that's why when, people say like, I was just talking about getting new socks and I log into Facebook and there's tons of socks. And it's like, well, if you've been searching for socks in another app, Facebook will see it. And then that's why it puts up all the ads. So anyway, that was rubbing me the wrong way. And also the big fuss now that Facebook is raising because Apple is going to put up a notice now on your devices that say this app is tracking you. And Facebook is like, that's not fair. And it's like, yeah, because you don't want people to know that they're tracking you. Anyway, the straw that broke the camel's back was this news with Australia. And Facebook, there's a lot of what goes on behind it. This happened a couple of weeks ago. There's a lot that goes in, to the backstory, but basically, Australia said, hey, if you are publishing content from publishers in Australia on Facebook, then Facebook, you need to pay those publishers for the thing. So whether or not you agree with that, I have thoughts about that. I think people should get paid for the work they do, but I also think, you need to be able to share things. So I'm not talking about that. What I'm talking about is Facebook just decided, okay, no more news from Australia. You cannot post any news sources from Australia on Facebook. And since then, they have come to a deal. But there was a period of like 2 or 3 days where people could not post anything on Facebook. And when Facebook did this, they say it was an accident, but they cut off government information being shared on Facebook from Australia about the pandemic, which I don't think is very, they say that was a mistake. But anyway, that was really, I was just like, okay, so you have this social media service that everybody's on, but they're going to decide which news, they're going to cut off a whole country. And it's not even just, it's conservative news or it's liberal news or it's whatever. It's just, they're going to cut off a whole country. And I was like, I don't agree with that. And that was really it. So I just was like, I'm going to delete my account. So I did. I'm probably 2 weeks in it. They of course they make it so hard for you to delete your account on Facebook, and it's not just deactivated. I did delete it, and so like they're all okay. You can delete your account, but there's going to be a 30-day window where you can log back into your account. So they really make it like, come on, tempting. But I was like, nope, I'm going to delete my account. So I went through the whole process, deleted my account. I still have like fan pages and stuff up there for different podcasts and stuff, but I just posted a thing that said this page isn't going to be updated anymore. You can follow these shows or Toily or whatever on these social media services, but not this. And let me say, I am still on Instagram, and I know that Facebook owns Instagram. I'm looking at getting off of that as well. But also Instagram didn't block an entire country from posting on their service. So, the jury is still out on Instagram, but I know that, it's probably just as bad. Anyway, here's why I told you that whole story. I'm not telling you that story to stay on Facebook. You want to stay on Facebook? You stay on Facebook. You're fantastic. You be on Facebook. The reason I told you that whole story is that I don't like that now, as I said, it's been over a week, probably about 2 weeks, close to 2 weeks since I deleted my account. I don't like how when I'm sitting at my computer editing or whatever, whenever there's a lull, whenever there's this little bit of a lull, like I'm doing something, I'm working, I'm sending emails, whatever, and there's this little bit of a lull, I absentmindedly open up a browser window and type in Facebook. Like I don't even realize that I'm doing it. I don't even realize until I see that login page, which I don't, I'm not going to log in at. But I don't even realize that it's just like absent-minded. It's just like, it's so ingrained. And it makes me mad. Like, that is like, why am I doing that? Why? Like, that is, to me, I'm so disappointed in myself that this habit has been built into my brain, that whenever there's a lull, whenever there is a dull moment where there's just a space to take a breath, I'm firing up a web browser page to go to Facebook. And that's why I'm telling you this story. Because, it's just disappointment. Like, it makes me feel so crappy that I am hooked into doing this thing. And I don't really know what much else to say, except that's the story, and that's still going on. And hopefully that will go away. It's been 2 weeks. You would think it's going away, but it happened moments before I opened this up to record, this device opened to record. So super frustrating. Anyway, that's it. To leave you on a lighter note, I need a haircut bad. Because things are shut down here in California. My hair is longer than it has been since high school when I had a mullet, but it's getting there, except I don't have a mullet now because it's just all my hair is growing. And my wife has constantly said, "Oh, well, I'll cut your hair for you. And I'm like, well, I'll just wait till the, barbershops open up again and I'll go get a haircut. And my wife said, come on, I'll cut it for you. I'll cut it. This is the woman who will spend days apologizing to our dog because she has trimmed his face unevenly. And she wants to cut my hair? Absolutely not. All right, I hope you are well. I hope you are doing safe. If you have any ideas for topics, please let me know, because I don't have any topics and I don't know what to do and I don't have any ideas. So I come on and tell dumb Facebook stories. All right, that's going to be it. Thank you so much for listening. I really, really appreciate it, and I will talk to you soon. To see a behind-the-scenes recording of this episode of the GrantCast, become a patron of Saturday Morning Media. Find out more at patreon.com/Saturday Morning Media. And thank you for your support. This episode of the GrantCast is copyright 2021 Saturday Morning Media, Grant Baciocco, executive producer, all rights reserved. www.saturdaymorningmedia.com. You've been listening to Saturday Morning Media. Stay tuned. We'll be right back.